was injured. It hasn't been killed on the first shot or the second shot.
When you buy Scottish salmon, you're paying for bullets to shoot seals.
Other menace because they're killing other prime fish. Salmon, sea trout are migrating down the coast.
Seals eat fish and humans seek to catch fish as well.
Scotland is home to the seal. 90% of UK seals are found on Scotland's wild and remote coastline. But seals are under threat. In 2015, 100 seals were killed, legally.
In 2011, it became illegal in Scotland to shoot or injure a seal. However, there is an exception to this law. A fisherman has the right to shoot a seal with a licence, only if this is done humanely and as a last resort. But is this always the case in Scotland? I'm Lauren Ritchie and I'm going to investigate shooting Scotland's seals.
The Marine Act states that the first resort will always be to non-lethal seal management measures such as anti-predator nets and acoustic deterrents.
The salmon farms are responsible for shooting a great many seals every year. They can't protect their fish farms by putting in exclusion nets so that they can't come in and disturb the fish or damage the fish. That way you can protect your fish and protect the seals at the same time. But they cost a lot of money and it's cheaper to buy bullets and shoot the seals.
The Scottish Natural Heritage is a public body that provides advice and information to the Scottish Government on its wildlife. It helped construct the Marine Act. I spoke to their principal marine advisor. Only 1 in 5 fisheries have installed the most effective method of deterring seals. Does this mean the government is doing enough?
I mean, I think the advice from government is good. The reporting mechanisms that are there now for us to know how many seals are being shot and the ability to limit the number of seals that can be shot, it has greatly improved the protection that can be afforded to seals in Scotland. Fish farmers are working with us and government and research bodies to explore how better to deter seals. So I don't think it's necessarily just for government to do more. I think we can all continue to work together.
They keep saying that they've improved things under the 2010 Act. They haven't improved things. The number of seals shot appears to have dropped dramatically, but no one counts them. No one polices this. We're relying on the shooters to come back and say, well, I've shot X number of seals this year. There's nothing to prove or disprove just how many seals are shot, and I think it could be a lot higher than the number reported.
Seals are known for being playful, curious, and some say they are the dogs of the sea. 1.12 million trips are made each year to or within Scotland for the primary purpose of viewing its wildlife. So what makes their species so special?
Seals spend about 90% of their time in the water, so there goes more back in the pool.
They're an essential part of the marine ecosystem in Scotland, but also an important asset, particularly from wildlife tourism aspect, which is something which is growing considerably, particularly in some of the more remote parts of Scotland where job opportunities are maybe lacking in other areas.
Deep Sea World's most popular attraction is their seal sanctuary.
In Scotland there are 2 main species of seals. You've got the harbour or common seal and the grey seal. So all of them, they all have very unique personalities. We've got Morag. She's quite she understands that we just have to give her the fish anyway, so she'll try and do as little as possible. You've got Heather, who's a bit of a diva. She can do everything, and she does normally everything with a bit of gusto, and then she'll just decide, nah, I've had enough, I don't want to come back up on the beach, and she'll start snorting at you. And then you've got Cody, who's just happy to please. He'll do anything you ask him. He's kind of like the little teacher's pet. If you educate people on the seals, they kind of have an association with the seals and they kind of have a bond with them. Kind of like someone would for their pets, they'd do anything for that pet.
Given the importance of wildlife tourism, is shooting seals not then a risk to the industry?
Some of the tour operators have shown me photographs of pregnant seals that have been shot, not killed outright, but left to die over several days, hauled out in rocks, bleeding to death.
John has campaigned for the protection of seals for over 20 years.
In the campaign against the big seal cull in Orkney back in the 1970s and early 80s, we thought we'd save the seals in Scotland, but we hadn't. The fish farmers and the salmon netsmen were still killing them. And at the peak, I reckon they were killing between 3,000 and 5,000 seals a year in Scotland. All quite legal, because there was no laws there to protect the seals.
What is your opinion on seal culls?
Yes, I'd be quite agreeable to sort of support that issue, because it's, and anybody else you ask that's at the game commercially would tell you the same.
Eyemouth is a town that thrives on the fishing industry, and it is also the home of two very popular seals. What do the people here think about shooting them?
This Eyemouth fisherman has chosen not to state his name.
I think myself that there's how else could you get rid of them? They're eating everything they could get hold of. There's no lump suckers left, because that was one of their main things, easy to catch. Never see them now, and it's them, it's wiped them out, definitely.
The Marine Scotland Act 2010 doesn't in fact protect seals. What it does is it protects fish farmers and salmon netsmen from being prosecuted for shooting the seals. There was one little bit of protection they had prior to that act. Under the Conservation of Seals Act 1970, anglers had to apply for a special licence to shoot seals during the breeding seasons. It was a complicated thing to get a licence, so they didn't bother. So seals had a bit of protection during the breeding seasons. The new Act has done away with that, and anyone with a licence can go out and shoot heavily pregnant seals or seals that have just pupped, leaving the pups to starve to death.
Now, if you ever do see a seal in the wild, it's not a good idea to approach it too closely, because although our seals are used to people, a wild seal won't be. And they do have pretty sharp teeth and pretty strong jaws, give you a nasty bite.
Get rid of them. And you can right enough there'd be a public outcry, because they think there are cuddly, lovely little mammals, which is a load of nonsense. But they've got big loads of canine teeth for.
An FOI request to the Scottish Government revealed that last year the biggest seal killers were salmon farming companies that are vital to the Scottish economy. The fish farming industry is worth 500 million a year in exports. In the beginning YouTube video, the shooters from the Scottish Wild Salmon Company declined an interview due to the sensitivity of the subject. So instead, I approached the Scottish Salmon Producers Organisation, who play a central role in Scotland's industry. They said,
"An attack by a rogue seal on a salmon farm can have a devastating effect, not only from the savaging of the fish with their teeth, but also the stressing of the remaining fish, resulting in large numbers of those fish actually dying from the stress."
Okay. So do you think seals are a problem in Scotland?
Yes, definitely. Yes, they definitely are.
Why?
Because the numbers have escalated that much now that they've definitely, went out of control completely. And every day, if there's any fish goes into the creel at all, it's eaten. They're pulled out through the mesh, and half of them's eating something that's just the heads left. Prime codlins, and they're taking even ling, conger eels, any type of fish, because there's that many of them, they're starving.
so, is this the case? Can Scotland manage the current seal population?
Scotland has a large proportion of the UK population of harbour or common seals, although numbers have been declining quite dramatically, particularly on the east coast and in the Northern Isles, and we don't really understand why, but there's a lot of research.
In certain numbers, populations are declining that due to different possibilities that people can change. People might pick other food sources, less farmed fish maybe, or reduced fish loads and what we need. They may also do protected areas, so where there are seal colonies, maybe not put fish farms. It would help, and with the public on side, it would encourage the government to change.
This investigation has taken me all over Scotland, from the north to the south. And in any case, it is clear that seals have an impact on the livelihood of many Scots. Morally, the situation is difficult. But what is clear is that the Marine Act does not resolve the issue. And for the sake of our fishing industry and the conservation of our seals, this law must be relooked.